Okay, pretty straightforward journal entry today. Basically, it's gonna be with Juniper VMX and vQFX. We're gonna do a routing on a stick here. There's gonna be a router on a stick. So there's gonna be multiple VLANs. So basically, there's gonna be VLAN 10, and there's gonna be VLAN 20. We're gonna do an IRB on the QFX for VLAN 20, and then no IRB for VLAN 10. We're gonna do this scenario. This has been bugging me for a few days. Basically, I have a habit on Cisco to configure SVIs on my switches, so I can just ping them, do simple tests and everything. But then on vQFX, on Junos, when you have an IRB and you match it with some broadcast protocols, for this one we're gonna do DHCP. It kind of breaks it a little bit. So let's just get started with this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Go back. Okay, so on our vQFX is kind of weird because I've been doing it for a few days on real equipment. It's kind of different. But then vQFX, if you show interface thirst, okay, you notice that the interfaces are in family iNet. So before we start, we gotta delete the family iNet and switch them over to Ethernet switching. So edit, okay, and say delete. The interfaces we want to delete is 10, 11, and 9. 10, 11, 9. So I'm going to say delete interface, say 10, 11, and 9. 10 and 11 being respectively in their VLANs later, VLAN 10 and 20. 9 is going to be in a trunk mode. And then we're going to do router on a stick on the MX. So first let's make the VLANs, edit VLANs. Set v10 VLAN ID 10, set v20 VLAN ID 20. We can also set the interfaces here straight away. Basically, if you say set VLAN 10 interface, and then you just name the interfaces. But then I prefer to actually do it in the interface level, so it's just one place. That's just the way I like to do it. And then we're gonna top show compare. So we made the VLAN, we deleted the interfaces, and we made the VLANs. So now let's put those interfaces in the correct VLAN. So we're gonna say set interfaces x is 0010. 10 is gonna be in VLAN 10. So first we're gonna say unit 0 family Ethernet switching, VLAN members, and v10. So I'm also gonna say interface mode, access. So that's pretty much the basic. So the next one is gonna be 11. So I said again, we're gonna say set interfaces xe11 unit 0, or you can also do it like this. Family Ethernet switching, VLAN members, and v20, and then interface mode, access. Okay, that's done for that one. Now we're gonna do 9. 9 is gonna be set interface x is 009 unit 0 family Ethernet switching. Here is going to be VLAN members, and then it's going to be all. This is going to be a trunk. So interface mode trunk. Okay. Here's another thing that I have to remember to myself. If I do this, I have to make sure that spanning tree is running. For some reason, in vQFX, because makes sense, all the interfaces were in iNet, family iNet. Spanning tree is not running. So if you say show run, show spanning tree, bridge for example, interfaces. It's not running. So easiest way to do it is you say edit protocol RSTP, and then we're gonna say set interface xe10 to edge, 11 to edge, and set interface xe9. It's gonna be mode point to point. This is a point to point mode. That's just how RSTP does it. But okay, again, the default for this is RSTP. So we say show. That's it. This should enable it. Now top show compare. So we've deleted the interfaces from family iNet. We put them in family Ethernet switching. This one is trunk. This is all deleted. Access v10. 11 is access v20. Okay, what's this? Why is 19? Oh, so I actually did something down there. So 10, 9. I didn't delete 9. 9 was not deleted. So let's go back. Yeah, I'll just say delete interface xe009 unit 0 family iNet, and then show compare. Okay, now it's deleted. That's good. Now it's strong. Now 10 deleted. Access 11 deleted. Access v20. You go to VLANs and my RSTP. So commit check. Sorry, commit check. Okay, commit check. Good. So I'm gonna commit. Also, another thing to add is an IRB for VLAN 20. That's what I said now. So integrated routing and bridging interfaces. So before we exit, let's just do that right now. Set interface IRB unit 20 family iNet address 20.20.20. Let's just do 2/24. And then we have to assign that particular IRB to a VLAN. So it says set VLAN v20 layer 3 interfaces IRB.20. Show compare. Good. Commit and quit. Okay. Now, let's just check first. Show spanning tree bridge. Doesn't really make much of a deal because it's the only switch. But then, if you're just doing this, I'm just doing it just to make sure it's a habit for me. And then I'm gonna say show VLAN details v20 untagged trunk. This v20 untagged trunk, and then we have the default, which is good. Show Ethernet switching interfaces. Okay, good. This is good, and 9 should be all good. Now show interface thirst match IRB. We just make sure the IRB is up. It's good. So this is a habit of mine. IRB, if you're from Cisco, it's basically an SVI. So I like doing it because I just like having an IP address which I can ping to check if my layer 2 functionality is okay. So I'll just ping 20.20.20.2 and it's good, right? So we can test that before we even hit layer 3 or a router. So now we know that works. So let's go to our MX. For the MX, we can't commit anything because we need to default the root authentication. So let's just, this is already an edit. Okay, I'm gonna say set system hostname first, mx r1, set system root authentication, plain password. Okay, I'm gonna commit that one. That's committed. Okay, so our interfaces right now is 009 GE. So for this one, we said we were gonna do it as a router on a stick. So in order for it to be a router on a stick, first we have to tell that interfaces that it is understanding VLAN tags. So basically you just say set edit interfaces xe009. Oops, I don't run, so interface there's I just like copying it, I don't like typing it in. Edit interfaces, paste, and then I'm gonna say set VLAN tagging. So now it understands VLAN tagging. So once we have this, now we can just go to a particular unit, and then we just set the VLAN ID for that unit. So for example, if I were to say set unit 10 family inet, address 10.10.10.1/24, and then I want to say set unit 20 family inet, address 20.20.20.1/24. So that's basically sets the IP addresses, but now we have to tell that unit is associated to which VLAN. So if you know Cisco, basically this is just the encapsulation trunk what VLAN is gonna be. So you have your sub interfaces and your encapsulation for whichever VLAN that is. Okay, so now we're gonna do that. So basically I'm gonna say set unit 10 again, and I'm saying what VLAN ID is gonna be associated with it. So I'm gonna say VLAN ID 10, set unit 20 VLAN ID 20. Okay, that should show. So this is basically what we're doing. We're telling that interface of GE009, you will understand VLAN tagging. For unit 10 or sub interface 10, for if you're Cisco lingo, you will recognize VLAN 10, and this is the associated IP addresses. Same again for unit 20, VLAN ID 20, and the IP address. So that's basically it for now. We're gonna test router on a stick. Then afterwards, we're gonna see what happens when we put a DHCP on it. Okay, so I'm gonna say commit and quit. Okay, from here I'm just gonna statically assign this guy again. So IP address 10.10.10.6/24. Okay, I'm gonna ping 10.10.10.1. Good to go. If I do a gateway for this guy, so basically just 10.10.10.1, and I'm gonna go here and I will assign a gateway for this guy too, 20.20.20.1. Okay. Once that's done, you can actually ping to the other side, 20.20.20.5, and you're good. So we know that the router on the stick works. Our layer 2 works. So now this is the catch. This is the catch. Now we're gonna do a DHCP server and see what happens when one VLAN does not have an associated IRB and another VLAN has an associated IRB on the vQFX. So we go to our MX again. Okay, here we're gonna set the VLAN. So first, the usual, we're gonna set a pool, an exclude range, and just your default gateway. That's the basics, just to get it up and running. So we'll say set edit access, okay, access, and then address assignment. I'm gonna say pool. This is gonna be my V10 pool, okay, and family inet. Then as here, I'm gonna set address. Sorry, set network. Well, what's the network for VLAN 10? 10, 10, 10, 0 / 24. Okay. And then I'm gonna set exclude range. What's the range name? So it's gonna be v10 exclude. Okay, that's the name and range. And then I want to say what's the low one. Low is gonna be 10.10.10.1, and high is gonna be 10.10.10.50. And then lastly, I'm just gonna set a router. So set DHCP attribute. There's a lot of attributes here. We're not gonna fudge around with this. We're just gonna say router. So what is the default gateway? 10.10. Sorry, 10.10.10.1. Good. So I'm gonna say show. So this is what we have for our V10 pool. Okay. So we're gonna do the same thing again for VLAN 20. So I'm gonna say top. Okay, this is edit. So edit access address family pool V20 pool family inet. That's the same. Okay, and then we're just gonna say again the network. So set network 20.20.20.0/24, and then set exclude range. The exclude range is v20 exe range, and then low is gonna be 20.20.20.1. High is gonna be 20.20.20.50. Okay, and then lastly we just set router. Oops, sorry, it's DHCP attribute, router 20.20.20.1. Okay, now show. For this one, it's gonna be same network, router, and the exclude range. Good. That's basically it. Now we have to make sure which interface when it's gonna be listening. Okay, which interface we want to activate the DHCP for. So top. Okay, we're gonna set system services DHCP local server, because it's a local server, group v10 pool group, and interfaces it's gonna be our GE009, but don't forget we are doing sub interfaces, so we're gonna dot, so this is 10. Okay, same thing for 20 v20, and we're gonna say here 9.20. So now we have those two in. That's it. We have to now commit, check, just for safe practices, and then commit and quit. Now let's do VLAN 10 first. VLAN 10. This is VLAN 10. This is VLAN 10. VCP6. Yes, correct. VLAN 10. So for here, I'm gonna say DHCP. Sorry, IP DHCP, and you're gonna see it's gonna go to the DORA process, the ORA, and it's gonna get an IP address. It's gonna start with 51 because we excluded from 1 to 50, and it's working. So we can ping 10.10.10.1, and you can also ping 20.20.20.5. That's that side. Okay, now this is where it's gonna get a bit funky. On VCP5, it's gonna the DORA process, the DOR, it's okay. It's gonna request it, but for some reason after the request, the vQFX will stop the request, right? Because it breaks. For some reason it breaks the layer 2 functionality. Not breaks functionality. It just isolates the layer 2 functionality for that final broadcast request. For the acknowledgement from the MX. So if I say IP DHCP here, you're gonna see DORRR. It's just gonna request. If I say DHCP and details, you're gonna see it actually gets that IP address. See, it gets the IP address, and it keeps on requesting it. But then for some reason, it doesn't reach the server because the vQFX stops it from reaching the server. because it has an IRB associated with it. That's why for some reason, okay, it breaks that DORA process. So this is where I got stuck and was spinning my wheels for a couple of days. So um, I just remember that there was a function for IP helper address, and I just tried it, and then it works. So on the vQFX, you actually have to set forward a DHCP relay, which is an equivalent to a IP helper address. So if you go here, so you just edit, okay, edit, you just set forwarding options, DHCP relay, server group, okay, server group, I'm going to say DHCP relay. Okay, what is the DHCP for VLAN 20? So VLAN 20 is going to be 20.20.20.1, right? And then say commit. So once it gets that, it goes to the DOR process and request. The request can be successfully forwarded to the MX. So if you go back here, sorry, here. So we're going to do this again. You see here, it requests, there's a reply, and after that there's acknowledgement, and it successfully gets the IP address. Good. And then you can so ping, and that's good. So basically the gotcha here is if there's an IRB on the vQFX, you have to do a helper or a DHCP relay for the DHCP server to work, or any broadcast functionality that is on behalf of a client that is on the same subnet as the IRB. That is it for my journal entry. Hopefully future me will find this and watch it again and say, oh, I remember doing that. Or if this helps you, just give me a like. It helps me a bit. Thank you.